You know that feeling, right? The endless scrolling, the fleeting trends. It makes you wonder, in a world moving this fast, do these old dusty books still matter? Well, let's dive in, because the answer is a bigger yes than you might think. Just think about your average day. It's a blur, isn't it? It's just endless scrolling. And all that scrolling leads to our attention spans just shrinking as we bounce from one thing to the next to the next. And it's all driven by this need for instant information, instant gratification, instant everything. So let's be real. In a world that runs on TikTok and quick AI summaries, where does that leave these dense, sometimes difficult, really old books? I mean, is there even any room left for them? Well, the answer isn't quite what you'd expect. Okay, so let's try to reframe this whole thing. These aren't just dusty relics on a shelf. You got to think of them as a timeless toolkit for the modern world. Why? Because while our tech has completely changed our fundamental human nature, it hasn't changed one bit. Okay, check this out. Back in 1603, Shakespeare's Othello was literally consumed by jealousy. Now, fast forward to today, and that exact same gut-wrenching feeling explodes when you see someone quickly swipe away a suspicious chat on their phone. The technology is new, but the human emotion? It's ancient. And this pattern holds true across all the classics. That pride and ego you see driving the characters in Jane Austen's novels, that's the very same engine behind modern office drama. The poverty and social injustice that Charles Dickens wrote about, well, those are still our headlines today. It just goes to show you that underneath all our screens, the human heart works the same way it always has. So here's the crucial point. These aren't just old stories. They're basically direct commentaries on our modern lives. The big themes from classic literature, they map perfectly onto the problems we deal with every single day in this digital age. Let's take the idea of identity. Hamlet's famous question, who am I really? That is the exact same question we ask ourselves every time we build our online profiles. We have the carefully curated, perfect version for Instagram, the super professional one for LinkedIn, the authentic one for TikTok. It's the same exact struggle, just played out on a digital stage. But it's not just about understanding ourselves. Reading classic literature actually gives you a serious upgrade to your modern skill set. You should think of it less like homework and way more like practical training for navigating the crazy, complex world we live in. I mean, just look at these parallels. You think cancel culture and public shaming is a new thing? Nope, that is the entire plot of the Scarlet Letter. The mob mentality of online bullying, that's basically Lord of the Flies. Our obsession with consumer culture and keeping up appearances, it's all right there on The Great Gatsby. These books are like a blueprint for understanding our so-called new problems because the struggles themselves are absolutely timeless. And in the process of reading them, you are building skills that an algorithm just can't replicate. Things like critical thinking, real empathy, understanding what truly motivates people, seeing bias, and reading between the lines. These are the uniquely human abilities that are becoming more and more valuable in the age of AI. This is the stuff that sets you apart. And that leads to another crucial skill, cultural literacy. Look, in our hyper-connected world, living in a cultural bubble isn't just naive, it's a real liability. Understanding different points of view is no longer a soft skill, it's absolutely essential. So when we read classics from all over the globe, from Chinua Achebe in Africa to Murasaki Shikabu in Japan, we're actively stepping outside our own little worlds. And in an age of social media echo chambers and rampant misinformation, this kind of literary travel is a powerful antidote. It helps us build real empathy and reject those overly simplistic narratives. So, we've seen how classics build our skills. Now let's talk about how they build a totally different kind of intelligence, one that goes way beyond the algorithm, making us better creators and, honestly, just deeper thinkers. You can scroll through 1,000,000 posts, you can watch 1,000 videos, and you can absorb a ton of information. But all of that fleeting content, it just can't teach you what a single classic story can. It won't teach you what King Lear teaches about the corrosive, destructive power of pride and the sheer weight of regret. Or what the Odyssey reveals about the raw power of human perseverance when you're facing completely impossible odds. And you will never, ever grasp what The Great Gatsby uncovers about that beautiful, tragic line between our dreams and our illusions. See, this is wisdom, not just data.
And for anyone out there who creates content, this wisdom is pure gold. It's a toolkit for stronger ideas, a much richer vocabulary, and way more powerful storytelling. It gives you this deep well of references to pull from, which instantly gives your voice more authority and more credibility.
Just look at this timeline. A meme is forgotten in a week. But the work of Austen, Shakespeare, and Homer? It's endured for centuries, some for millennia. Anything that has that kind of staying power isn't just entertainment. It's carrying essential, fundamental wisdom about what it means to be human.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? Well, in a world that often feels incredibly shallow, classics offer depth. They give us meaning, they forge human connection, and they build our emotional intelligence. They really provide the things that, deep down, we're all actually craving. In a world that is just obsessed with speed, classics are a powerful act of resistance. They actually force us to slow down, to think deeply, and ultimately to understand ourselves and our place in the world in a way that no app ever could. And that really leaves us with a final thought. Our digital tools, they're fantastic at giving us quick answers. But classic literature, it does something much more important. It teaches us which questions are worth asking in the first place.